What's up, everybody? Hope y'all are doing good. So today's video is actually going to be on my experience with an eating disorder that I went through back in my early 20s and as a teenager. It lasted for a good 3 or 4 years, and I mean, it got pretty severe. I don't know if any of y'all have ever went through anything like that, where you're literally plagued by what you think you weigh. But I did, and during the time, though, I felt like my life was completely out of order. I felt like I had no control over anything. I felt like everything was just crumbling. And, you know, so me being able to control my weight and control what I'm eating, it just gave me a sense of control. I felt like I could really just have a grip on one thing in my life, even if it was something as simple as that. And I kind of went overboard with it. You know, I've always really been kind of self-conscious about my weight and about my appearance ever since I was a kid. And, you know, it's crazy, y'all. It starts out as something as so simple as being called fat when you're a kid, you know, being called chubby and being made fun of. And, you know, you think about it, you look at children, they can be mean to each other, and you just don't think childhood picking and bullying like that can really cause someone to kind of self-destruct, but it actually can. And I look back and I remember those years as a child that people would say stuff about my weight, because first of all, I was a very fat baby. I was over 10 pounds. And as a kid, I was chubby as well. You know, now I'm slender and in shape, but you know, I was chubby, and I never really thought much about it until school. And I think it was probably in the 4th or 5th grade. I don't know, I just remember I was in elementary school and somebody said something about they would call me chubby or they would call me fat. And I just remember it would just bug me to death, because, you know, they would laugh at me, and I never understood it. And, you know, just throughout the years, that was just one thing, y'all. I don't know why. I don't know. It just stuck with me. And so I was self-conscious with my weight my entire childhood. And then when I became a teenager and, you know, I went through the coming out experience, I posted that on my channel. It's my first video. My life just kind of fell apart. And that was just one thing I decided to hyper-focus on, was my weight and to control what I ate. And, you know, that was going to be something that was almost like a big distraction from my life. And little did I know that some of the minor things, like counting all my calories precisely every single day, giving myself a limit and not going over one thing, I never thought that would lead up to me being severely underweight and then having to go get professional help and making myself throw up. I never thought that it would lead to that, but it did. And, you know, it all starts out very innocent. To me, anorexia, bulimia, just eating disorders in general, they start out almost like a drug addiction. You know, you kind of dabble in it, and it's just something that you find some sort of enjoyment out of it, and it leads to one thing after another, and then finally you're full-blown you're so engulfed in it that you feel there's no way out. And that's how it was with me. Y'all, I remember I was so skinny, and still, I mean, I was so skinny. I was about 40 pounds lighter than what I am now, and still thought I was fat. I still thought I was fat. I did not like the way I looked in the mirror. I was still wanting to lose more weight. Even though you could see my ribs, you could see my spine, it was, I don't know, I was just mentally very, very sick. And I just was so kind of just obsessed with thoughts about how I looked and my weight. I don't care how I felt. I felt horrible during that time. It was all about how I looked, how I was perceived by other people if they thought I was skinny enough. And I remember I would watch every bite of food that went in my mouth. And I never really made myself throw up a lot. I was more on the anorexia side than bulimia. I never really purged, but, you know, I would just not eat. And then I would only eat if I felt like I was going to pass out, or if I started just feeling so bad that I was just weak and couldn't move, then I would eat something. But if I ever felt that I ate too much, yes, I would make myself throw it back up. And there were sometimes I knew I was going to eat and then I was going to make myself throw up. And what I would do was I would chug a liquid. After I ate, I would chug a liquid of some sort. Usually it was a Diet Coke because it had no calories. To be honest, I don't like water, so I don't know, I never really drank water very much. But it was always Diet Coke or either cold black coffee, because I do love coffee. And, you know, it has no calories either. So I would chug it. And then I would kind of sneak away. If I was around other people, I would kind of sneak away, and then I would make myself throw up. And, I got so good at this stuff that it's like I was able to learn to throw up without making any noise. Like, most people throw up and you hear them. I mean, you can hear them gagging, you can hear, just they're like, their bodies are almost like convulsing. But I got to a point to where that I learned to be quiet with it. I learned to sneak things off my plate. I learned to come up with excuses of why I couldn't eat. And, people believed it for a while. And then, when I really started getting super skinny, people began to notice that something was wrong. And, my mother would bring to my attention, she would ask me, like, are you not eating? What is going on with you? She knew, and my mother knew I was self-conscious about my weight all through my childhood. She knew that, and so she really picked up on it. She thought that I had an eating disorder, and I didn't know I had one, y'all. I did not know I had one. I thought it was normal. I thought it was okay. It took a lot of painful experiences and moments to finally realize and admit that I had a problem. It took several people saying stuff to me. Because I just started looking sick. I had people ask me if I was on, during that time, if I was on like hard drugs, which I wasn't, or I remember I had people ask me if I had like an autoimmune disease. I remember somebody asking me once, did I have AIDS? Because, I was gay, and on top of that, they put that together. It's just a stupid assumption, but I was asked if I had AIDS. Somebody said I looked like a cancer patient. And it was just, I looked horrific. My face was sunk in, and it was, I looked like I was on my deathbed. And, I finally got sick of feeling like that. I got sick of always being so weak, always feeling so bad about myself. The whole time I had an eating disorder, yes, it felt like I had control over something, but at the same time, it made me so depressed. It always made me anxious that that I was eating too much, or was I still gaining weight? And I got tired of that mindset. I got so sick of living in that. And finally I realized one day, I was like, I've got to go get help. And, my mother and my father, they helped me as well. I went to a therapist, and I really, really dug deep into myself and tried to figure out what was going on. And guys, it took practice. It took a lot of practice to overcome it. I remember when I was in my recovery, I was starting to make myself eat stuff, and it's like I was just engulfed in panic and fear, knowing I had to eat like a whole piece of cake. It sounds crazy, but in my mind, it was terrifying. And and it took it just took a lot of rough times and rough pits to really get out of that and reach the top of the mountain. And finally, I've gotten past it. Yes, and honestly, I think I probably always will, because it's something that is just ingrained into my brain. I still have moments to where, like, let's say I'll eat a cookie, and it's like I'll sit and ruminate over that for a few hours, like, I shouldn't have eaten that, and, I'm not going to eat that again, and, I wonder if that made me gain weight. Yes, it's still there, but I've learned to get over those feelings now. I've learned to let them pass, because I would rather be healthy and have weight on me than to be so weak that I felt like I was going to pass out all the time. And on top of that, I was amazed, y'all, when I started gaining weight, the compliments people were saying about how better I looked. I was like, at first it confused me. I was like, no, why would I look better? Why would gaining weight make anybody look better? I'm supposed to only look better if I lose weight. But the complete opposite happened. People began to say, oh, you look so wonderful. You look healthy. You look happy. And it's like everyone just thought I had just beautified, if that's even a word, after I got over the disorder and started eating more. And, so that really helped me out a lot. I was like, well, maybe I don't look as bad as I think I do. Yes, I still look in the mirror, y'all. Yes, I look in the mirror when I shouldn't. Sometimes I weigh myself when I shouldn't. But, I've learned to get past and not let it consume me to the level that I once was. And, I don't ever plan on turning around and going back into that. Never, ever. And if for some reason I feel I'm slipping up and I am going back in that direction, I'm going to go get help as soon as possible, because I do not ever, ever want to go back into that. Yes, it made me a better person. I learned a lot of lessons from it, but I don't want to waste any more years of my life dealing with stuff like that. Because I categorized my appearance more important than my health. And that should never be a thing. But unfortunately, it does happen a lot. You know, a lot of the models you see, I mean, you can tell they are very underfed. They're just incredible. They're too skinny, but you know, that's their career, and that's what they are kind of brainwashed into believing, is that their beauty comes before health. And you know, that's really, you know, that can lead to a lot of health problems. Not eating like that. You know, I didn't experience any major health problems from it. I got very lucky because as small as I got, I really should have experienced some kind of internal thing going on. But you know, I was lucky that I did. So, you know, I look back on that time in my life, and it's very sad, but at the same time, it's like, wow, you know, I was able to get past that. And anybody, y'all, if y'all are going through anything like that, whether it's as severe as mine, or if it's minor, if you're just worried about your weight all the time, you know, don't let it consume you, because I promise you, you don't look as bad as you think you do. You do not look as fat as you think you do. Even now, I'll have times that I feel like I'm fat, and I will ask a friend or a family member, you know, do I look like I've gained weight? And they look at me like I am just stupid. They're like, Dylan, you were literally so small. Like, why do you even think you're gaining weight? And I've had people tell me it wouldn't even kill. They're like, it wouldn't kill you to put on a few pounds. So, you know, it's just very weird how it tricks your mind into thinking things that you think things are true that are not. So, you know, guys, just remember, it's never, you are your worst critic. You are your absolute worst critic more than anybody ever will be. You think other people are against you, but deep down, you are against yourself more than anybody. So, you know, guys, keep your head up. You know, take care of yourself. Take care of your mental health, your physical health. Make sure you prioritize your health over anything to do with beauty, because your health will get you further along in life than anything. Because if you don't have good health, you have nothing. I mean, because bad health can, you know, cause you to be immobile. It can cause all these diseases that can kill you. And then, you know, what do you have if you're laying there on your deathbed because you were so worried about your looks? What do you actually have? What do you have to show for it? Nothing. You have just destroyed your own body. And so, guys, don't fall into that trap. I know a lot of things on social media makes people think they're fat, or makes people feel like they need to be skinnier, they need to have some cosmetic surgery to look better, but it's a bunch of lies. And do not give in to that kind of pressure, because a lot of the stuff I see on the internet, I think should not even be on there. Like, it's awful. Like, especially towards women, making them feel horrible about the way they look to try to sell a product. And also, guys, in the gay community, gay men are very much into their physical appearance and how they look and how they dress, and, you know, their bodies, and it causes a lot of pressure on other gay men. It did me. I remember when I finally came out and got involved in the gay community, it's like so much was placed on my looks. I had people that wanted to date me. You know, I thought they liked me as a person, but deep down it was because of the way I looked. You know, I was like just a big piece of meat to them. And so that is one thing that really caused me to kind of hyper focus in my own how I appeared, because I feel like that was the only bit of self-worth that I had. But little did I know, I had a lot more to offer than that. So I love you all so much. I really hope this video helps somebody. Like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Instagram, and I'll be back with another video really soon. Thanks, guys. Y'all have a good day. Bye.